Welcome back. I'm Kevin.
I'm Don.
This is my dad, and this is Dad's Book Reviews. Don here reads a lot of books, and I like to cherry pick off of what he finds are the best. So we're here to find out what he's read in the past little while, and hopefully we'll find a book we want to read.
This series is named Aetherforged by Luke Chimilenko and Harmon Cooper. If you're looking it up on the internet, you want to go with Harmon Cooper. He must have been the one that did most of the writing, because when you try and find it with Luke Chimilenko, you're not going to find it. So I think he just lent his name to it. There are only 2 books in the series so far. It is definitely not completed yet, and the books are about 393 pages long. Callum Strauss is an 18-year-old farm boy. They're struggling through a very brutal harvest, wheat harvest, trying to get it alongside his father, trying to get enough wheat that they can sell and get supplies, get them through the winter. But it's a very poor wheat harvest, and they're struggling. He's strong, reliable, hardworking, and their small farm plot just gives them a very meager existence. But he comes from a very famous and strong line of ancestry with a great legacy that has been squandered over the years by various relatives until land has been sold off and sold off and sold off until they only have just a couple small wheat fields and this hut that they live in and a big mansion that is falling apart and nobody goes near because it's haunted. And people that go there die. A violent aether storm comes along while he's trying to harvest wheat. It's so violent that it forms a large aether beast, dragon-like aether beast, that immediately chases Callum, and the only place he can go to get away from it is into this mansion, which all goes bad, and he ends up in the very bottom basement with this dragon after him. But he finds a core that has an aether beast in it, which he absorbs into himself, and finds out that it's the core that his great ancestor left for him whenever he came along. And this fox says, "You are the reincarnation," and he bonds with him. And by bonding, they get the powers that animal brings to them. Speed, strength, magic, whatever that animal can bring into the equation. Now that he's got magic, he's eligible to go to the great Mana Academy in the capital of the realm. His father sends him right off. He's willing to sell everything he has to get him there. And he has all kinds of interesting fun on the way there, but he makes it to the academy and he gets in, finds out that things are going weirdly in the capital. There's now demonic aether beasts that are bonding with humans again. People are taking demon cores, and that's what his great ancestor fought to get rid of. And so he's in the capital, but the king is listening to the adjoining country that is full of all of these demonic aether core wielding people. And he gets to negotiate both a college for magi that don't like him and a increasing likelihood that the kingdom is going to go down the tubes to demon activity. And he has to figure out a way to survive through this and hopefully thrive. The magic system is really unique. Story's well told, and it kept my attention. I gave it a 9. It was very good. HV, violent instance of high intensity. Profanity D. Several people use hardcore profanity. And sex PG implied but not described, age teen.
And what caused it to be a 9 instead of a 10?
Instead of a 10, some authors tell a story more simply than others do. You don't get a lot of background of why this is happening or why that's happening until it's part of the story later on. And so you float through the story bouncing off of ideas rather than having a deep dive into those ideas. And this author does that.
So because you don't know what's going on, or you don't know much of
No,
the
it's
story, or
just not less lifelike when the characters are not fleshed out any more than they are.
okay.
So you get to learn about him, and you learn a lot about him, but very little about his father, and very little about this and that. Then you get to learn about a princess, and very little about most of the other people. And you just kind of bounce through with characters coming up that, okay, where'd that come from? What's needed for the story to go on is there, but it's not comprehensive as some books.
Okay. And you feel like that
It's still good.
detracts from the story a bit.
Yeah, I enjoy a story that just sinks me right into the person where I can feel what he's going to do next just because I've learned enough about him.
You said it was an interesting magic system. So in the story, you were talking about how he bound with a core, sounded like a fox, and gained maybe speed or stealth powers from that.
Uh-huh.
Um, what else in the magic system would you reveal?
Well, as he grows in power, his core grows to where it can accept another core and he can bond another animal. And he can learn skills by watching them. He can buy skills. He can strengthen the cores that he's got, strengthen the skills that he's got by buying shards that he adds on to them. And so all this stuff is kept in your heart. And when you want to upgrade a skill, you pull it out and you find the right shards and you stick them onto it and makes the core stronger, then you put it back in.
All right. Well, that's all the books for today. Hopefully, you find something you like.
Hope you enjoy your reading.